I'm Kitty, and this podcast is mine. Missing, murdered, unidentified in New England. I cover cases from the New England states of Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Each episode takes place over the month of each year between January 1st, 2010 and December 31st, 2020. And based on sources, some episodes will be long and others will be short, as these cases don't generally have much information available. All of the research, scripting, opinions, and mistakes herein are my own, and I will offer updates and corrections when possible. I do not offer trigger warnings for wounds, as they are a necessary part of the narrative. I will trigger warn for such topics as suicide, animal death, domestic violence, etc. as needed. Now with that, please listen in as I tell you about June 2010. This is a rare episode, y'all! Nobody died. We are, however, highlighting the disappearance of two men. Bryan Keith Gomez is classified as endangered missing from Cavendish, Vermont. Bryan was born sometime in 1962 and disappeared around June 9th to 10th, 2010. Bryan is a white male who is 5 foot 5 inches, 140 pounds with a mustache, long brown hair, and hazel eyes. Bryan has no distinguishing marks or features. He has undisclosed mental health limitations, although he is independent, had a job at Gilchrist Log Homes, lived alone, and had a caseworker. Bryan's caseworker hadn't seen Bryan since June 1st, while his work last saw him on June 9th, and no sightings of Bryan have occurred since. On July 6th, 2010, a neighbor called in a welfare check after not seeing Bryan for a couple of weeks. After this initial report, Bryan's caseworker called in a welfare check. Bryan has no known vehicle and is known as a hitchhiker along Route 131 and Route 106, and his family in the Springfield, Vermont area too. There is no indication of foul play or self-harm. Please text VTIPS to 274-637. Mickey Browham of Jabesh Street, Belchertown, Mass. was born on October 24, 1955, and would be 66 if still alive, although he disappeared without a concrete trace on or about June 25, 2010, from his hometown. Mickey is the middle of 6 children to his parents Rita and Henry, whom he called every day without fail. Other than family, Mickey was a bachelor who didn't have a known partner or children, only his cat, whom he left behind without food or water for an extended stay away. This fact is what really convinced the community that something bad happened to Mickey, because he was responsible and loved his cat and wouldn't leave it without necessities when out for a trip. Mickey owned and operated his own business, M. Browham Excavating. He also plowed city sidewalks for the water department each year. The financial standing or any disgruntled employee's status is unknown. Mickey is between 5'4" and 5'6" and 190 to 220 pounds. Mickey is white with brown hair and blue eyes. Mickey has a wolf tattoo on his left shoulder and a large surgical scar on his sternum from coronary heart surgery that happened shortly before he vanished. Mickey also has Dupuytren's contracture of his third and fourth fingers on both hands. This means that those fingers are bent towards the palm and can't fully extend. Mickey also has diabetes and needed medications to live, though those medications were left behind. Mickey's signature necklace, a 1 3/4 inch scorpion with a diamond on the tip of the tail, is also missing. It is unknown what else Mickey was wearing when he disappeared. Both of his vehicles, motorcycle and truck, were accounted for at home, and Mickey didn't like being driven around, someone quoted as saying, "That's not how he rolled." So, if Mickey really was at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway that day, the day he disappeared, how did he get there, and who drove? Mickey made plans on June 24th, 2010, over a nice cold iced tea since it was humid that day, with his sister for the upcoming Sunday. Mickey and his sister were going to tackle a landscaping project at her home in exchange for a home-cooked meal, as family does. The last confirmed sighting of Mickey was by his nephew at roughly 2 p.m. on Friday, June 25, 2010. Some sources say Mickey shared a brief wave with his nephew Adam Browham as he drove past in his truck. Others say he asked him if he needed something to drink because it was hot out that day, and Adam was a cop serving on traffic duty. I think both could be likely true if traffic were slow and Mickey could stop briefly. Small towns are that way sometimes, you know? Saturday, June 26th rolls around, and there was no mention from Mickey that he was going to the races that weekend, which he would have mentioned as he was both an avid race attendee and very close to family to the point where he spoke to them daily. Rita, Mickey's mom, was unable to get in touch with Mickey that Saturday and called Carla, Mickey's sister, because that was very strange. By this point, people were concerned as Mickey kept in frequent contact with family and essentially vanished into thin air, something that they knew he wouldn't do on his own. Prior to being located, there were multiple calls from Mickey's phones to people in his contacts list, but not a single one connected. When people saw that Mickey called and they called back, it went straight to voicemail. Sunday, June 27th, a stranger found Mickey's wallet at the Speedway and called Carla as her contact info was inside. Mickey's wallet with ID and credit card were found at Route 106 across from the Speedway. It was also reported that the wallet was found at the main gate of the Speedway. Nobody actually saw Mickey at the race, and it is unclear if he actually arrived or even left Belchertown. His family doesn't think he left town. New Hampshire Fish and Game and out-of-state search dogs scoured 12,000 acres with helicopters, ATVs, dive teams, and found no sign of Mickey. 10 dogs from the Connecticut Canine Search and Rescue looked for 2 days. It was their first time looking for a live human. In a separate search, 100 volunteers searched in October 2010, on foot, on horseback, on ATVs, 11 and 2 miles north of the Speedway, different from the New Hampshire Fish and Game search. In another separate search, conducted in Belchertown, Mass., the George Hannum Street near the Highway Department was searched. Nothing of note was discovered there either. In the aftermath of Mickey's disappearance, there have been vigils, like the one on July 10th, 2010, where hundreds showed up. The anniversaries where people keep their porch lights on to show that they're still looking for him, blue ribbons being tied up around town, as well as an annual blood drive in Mickey's honor, as he was an avid donor. Mickey's sister Cindy thinks that other people in town know what happened to him, but she declined to name names. Mickey's life and mystery have not been forgotten, as Web Sleuth recently bumped his post up as recently as October 14th, 2021. Mickey's life is fairly innocuous, yet his disappearance is truly something from the movies. Let's finally bring Mickey home. Please call 1-413-586-9225, 1-413-323-6655, 1-866-477-8237, 1-413-586-5150, or text TIP to crime. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, please email me at minepodcast@gmail.com. All one word, and mine is spelled with 2 M's, 2 I's, 1 N, 1 E. Please include what your message is about in the subject line. Later, y'all!